Hey YouTube, Casey here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the best version of every single A New Hope character that we can make in LEGO. Hopefully you all enjoy the video, and I might end up turning this into a series, so if you want to see the Empire Strikes Back figure selection next, then make sure you're subbed so you don't miss that. But let's go ahead and start out with our main lineup of characters from the movie. Farm Boy Luke is literally memed as one of the most common Star Wars figures, so he's pretty easy to make. The only change I made to him was using the dirty blonde hair instead of the blonde one he normally uses. For Han, I made sure that he had the 2018 newer hairpiece along with the 2014 head because I just feel like that one looks the most like Harrison Ford. One change I wish I could make though was adding dual molded legs, and this would be easy enough for any custom maker to produce, so hopefully someone will make it eventually. For Leia, I got the one from the 2021 X-Wing set, but I switched out the headpiece since the print's kind of generic. So this custom one is UV printed from Firestar Toys and looks a lot more like Leia. Obi-Wan and Chewie are just the normal versions that we see in sets all the time. So for one set for each of them, I think you can get Chewie in the 2019 Rise of Skywalker Millennium Falcon playset, and Obi-Wan you can get in the Master Builder Series Cantina. This 3PO figure is a little more interesting, and it's the one from the UCS Landspeeder, who's also going to be appearing in the buildable C-3PO set this August. And I really like this figure. It looks amazing with the arm printing and that dual molded leg. R2 is also the newer one who has the addition of back printing added to him. And I wonder if LEGO would ever add printing to the legs of astromech droids, but that might be a little too over detailed. I'd have to see how it looks. Vader is actually pretty rare, which you might not have thought just looking at him. This might seem like the one that we get all the time, but I actually had to buy the exclusive Rebels version of Vader off Bricklink to get the right look. The Rebels version actually matches what Vader has on in A New Hope, with his robes hanging over top of the armor plating on his upper chest, and this is definitely a super small difference from the Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi version, but it's still a difference I wanted to make sure I included. Okay, now that we're done with the main characters of the movie, let's take a look at my Stormtroopers. For them, I have the most recent bodies that use white hips from the Stormtrooper mech set from last year, but I threw on the 2014 helmet just because that looks 100 times better than that goofy looking Family Guy helmet that they put in sets nowadays. I do need to buy a fifth helmet though, one of my guys doesn't really fit in right now. For my TIE Fighter pilot, I chose the one with white markings on the helmet instead of silver ones. I don't actually know which one's more accurate, the silver or the white, but the white looks better to me, so that's why I chose that one. I wish I had arm printing for him, but you can only get that in the UCS versions of him, which are pretty expensive off Bricklink. And that goes for the Sand Troopers too. I wish I had a couple to showcase today, but they're super pricey right now. Speaking of the Sand Troopers though, let's move on to some of the guys that we get to see on Tatooine. The Jawa here is pretty simple, but I really like the Tusken Raider. The head mold made for him looks great, and I like the pouches printed across the torso. Next up, we have the Imperial Spy, who's from the Master Builder Series Cantina set. And this guy I honestly remember more from the Complete Saga game rather than the actual movie. Then we have Wooher and Greedo. And Wooher is the bartender that we see at the cantina. And of course, everyone knows who Greedo is. One thing LEGO hasn't added to their modern Greedo, though, that I'd love to see in the future is arm printing and side leg printing to add his yellow stripes on top of the blue. Now, here's Dr. Evazan and Pondo Baba, who are kind of niche, but these guys are the ones that come up to Obi-Wan in the bar at the cantina. Walrus Man has a unique head that looks really cool, and I like the orange jacket, too. Evazan is kind of just like a whatever figure to me since it's just some normal dude. But the print on his chest is also colored really badly, where the skin tone is kind of washed out on the torso. And then, of course, we have the Biff musicians, who, of course, play the iconic music at the bar. And honestly, there's so many lesser-known guys in the bar and the background that I could make, but I think we'll stop it here. Moving away from Tatooine, here's some Rebel Troopers. So one of them is just the standard one that we're used to, but I threw dual molded legs onto him just to make him perfect. And I also have Captain Antilles, who's from the same Tantive hallway set, but with dual molded legs. Rebel Friend isn't actually from the movie, of course, but I had to throw him in here just because he's so iconic for LEGO Star Wars. The torso is a custom pad printed one by Grandpa Clone Customs. General Dodonna here is the leader of the Yavin 4 Rebel base, and he's only ever come in the 2021 X-Wing set that Leia also came in that I mentioned earlier. there. And then, of course, also from Yavin, we have the 3 outfits for our main characters at the end of the movie. These are from the Yavin base set from last year, but again, I switched Leia's head out for that Firestar Toys one. I really wish, again, like Han earlier, that these 2 guys had dual molded legs. It'd just make them perfect. But for the last figures of this video, we have our Rebel pilots. So, of course, we got Luke from the 2023 X-Wing set, but recently we got a keychain version of this figure. So, I just ended up getting a bunch of these keychains, ripped off the legs and the arms, and used them to upgrade my Rebel pilots. So, the first pilots that I upgraded were Gold and Red Leader from the Yavin base set. I really like their helmets with the side helmet printing. Then we've got Biggs Darklighter, whose helmet came in the original 1999 X-Wing playset. And the face print is UV printed from Firestar Toys. And then lastly, we have Wedge Antilles in Theron Net, I think is how you say it. I ordered some heads off of Bricklink for these guys, but they haven't come yet, so right now I just have Luke's on them for now. And I also have Jack Porkins' helmet too, but there's no like modern face or custom face print to my knowledge. So if y'all know one that someone makes that I can throw onto him, let me know in the comments below. 3 more figures I sadly don't have for this video that are really pricey that I still had to mention were Uncle Owen, Aunt Beru, and Grand Moff Tarkin. Of course, these guys are still really notable characters, but like, I'm sorry guys, I'm not paying $100 for this old fart. But that's about it for this video. Something different from anything that I've done before, so hopefully y'all enjoyed. But with that all said, remember that Christ is King, and may the Force be with you.